A man once asked a wise old monk, "Everything feels heavy today. Nothing is working the way that I've hoped. I feel lost, tired, discouraged. And what should I do when life feels like it's falling apart?" The monk listened quietly and then asked him, "When a seed is planted in the ground, what does it look like first?" And the man replied, "It disappears into darkness." The monk said, "Yes, but that darkness is not the end of the seed. It is the beginning of its growth." The monk continued, "Many people think their life is falling apart, when in reality, life is clearing space for them to grow differently." The man whispered, "But the pain feels endless." And the monk nodded. "Because you are measuring your life only by what is going on, but growth is often invisible while it is happening." And then the monk pointed towards the sky after a storm. "Do you see how the trees become stronger after strong winds? The storm did not ask permission before arriving, but it still left the tree deeper rooted than before." And the man said, "So what should I do during these hard times?" And the monk replied, "Do not abandon yourself. Rest when you are tired. Pray when your heart feels heavy. Take small steps when big ones feel impossible. Stop comparing your life to others and remember that confusion is often part of the transformation." And then he added, "Some chapters of life are not meant to make you feel comfortable. They're meant to make you wiser, stronger, and more awake." In Buddhism, difficult seasons are not seen as punishment, but as part of life. Pain changes, circumstances change, and you change too. So if nothing feels right now, do not panic. Sometimes life breaks your old path because it's trying to lead you forward to a better one.
As I was standing here right before the song came on, and a connection for me from years ago when I was a funeral director popped into my head. There was a Roman Catholic priest by the name of Father Phil. No, Father Bill. Okay, let's back this one up one step. There was an Episcopal priest by the name of Father Bill, and there was a Roman Catholic priest by the name, oh God, his name just went out of my head. Yeah, Phil and Bill. I wasn't thinking that before. Yes, I won't give their last names. But when I was a funeral director, both of these men had a very important part in helping to form who I was. And they're popping into my head for a reason. I can remember every Episcopal service that I would go to as a funeral director and bring the casket into church. And when Father Bill would get up to do the sermon at the spiritualist church, at the Episcopal church, he would always bring up about the deceased, and before you go, clear your relationships. And he would talk about, in his own family over the dining room table, how the aunt and his mother talk about cousin so-and-so who we don't talk to anymore, and how nobody knew why they didn't talk to her. And he would talk about, before you leave this earth and this mortal coil, as he would say in the Episcopal Church, he would try to get people to remember to make a change. Father Phil did not talk about making changes in one's life, in relationships, but I have a very sweet experience of him exemplifying it. He was, and still continues to be in the spiritual realm, an exquisite man who walked his faith. So when I step up here to talk about something, I cannot compare myself to these two men who I hold in high regard, who held such space in my life. All I can do to talk to you about, or all I can do as a spiritualist minister, is stand here and tell you my stories, in hopes that it might enlighten you, in hopes that it might give you a chance to look at your own life. And I want to talk because of something Barbara unknowingly said a few moments ago before service began, which inspired me. No, it's a good thing. I won't repeat what she said. It's not necessary. but it inspired me. Going to being a spiritualist and a medium. What is one of the things that we hear from mediums when they're bringing through a relative from the spiritual realm? One of the things we hear is, I'm sorry. Your mom wants to say she's sorry. Your grandfather wants to say he's sorry. We hear I'm sorry because people, when we cross, we have an opportunity to perhaps reevaluate our life and see where we made errors. But in conversation, sorry, Sharon, I love you. In conversation with Sharon, it was either last night or this morning, Sharon very lovingly said she wants to leave this earth.
Well, not right now.
No.
Let's be clear.
Please, no, not right now. Even I agree with that. I'm not taking over. I love you all. We need Sharon here for a long time. But her statement was something to the effect of, I want to leave this earth being clear. So I think back to certain relationships in my life. And there was one, I met this girl in my 9th grade year. We became friends and we maintained a friendship. I took her to the senior prom. We maintained a friendship for a long time until one day I became frustrated and could not talk to her anymore. There was something that she said that just got under my skin to a point where I said, I'm done. And I literally held the I'm done for 10 years plus, maybe 12, no more than 13. But I held the I'm done with her because, like those old aunts that Father Bill spoke about around the table with his mother, we don't talk to her anymore. I was so hurt by her action that I couldn't see that she might have changed in the course of 10, 12, 13 years. She reached out to me 10 years in and 11 years in, ignored it. And then all of a sudden, Spirit, around 12 years, was starting to push me. Call her. Call her. She called me. And I responded, hey, it is so good to hear from you. Oh, you picked up the phone. Right? I could stay in the angered spot. Yeah, I did. It's about time. I'm glad you did. Can we talk? We have to talk. Under that, we have to talk in order to be able to resume a friendship. We have to clear the air. I'm glad that she reached out and made the call. We are now friends again, differently, but friends again. We can, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How are your kids? I'm doing great. What are you up to? I'm traveling. Oh, that's great. We can resume a friendship. We both were able to hear how hurt we were by the other person's actions. We were both able to own our actions and the way we behaved in response to the other person. And we were able to put to rest what had happened, but not forget it. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm walking around every time we talk on the phone with, oh, yeah, sure. I don't have to do that. I don't have to hold on to that. And in the moment that my friend behaves in a way that triggers me from past experience, I can do it. There she is, but I still love her. Don't take what she just said personally. And so I think back to Father Philip and Father Bill, and I think of the way Father Philip exemplified spiritual awareness and love, and how Father Bill, in his humanity, talked about his Italian family around the table and used the experience to help me learn how to grow in life. And now, in relationship with someone, do you want to be the person in spirit that comes back to say you're sorry? Do you want to cross over? We're not letting you go yet. Have Sharon all of a sudden come through one of you to me and say, Richard, I'm sorry that last day I didn't make you bacon.
That would be my.
No, I'm just, you get the idea. It doesn't matter what the sorry's about. And she makes bacon for me every time I come to visit. She's amazing. But do you understand the point? We have an opportunity as people living in this world to be able to clear and clarify things in our lives, relationships in our lives, in ways that does not have to be, oh my God, I forgive you, I love you, and the epitome of love and spirituality. It can be, hey, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. How can we move ahead from this place? Now, there are some people in our lives that we can live in the world being connected to and friends with, but not necessarily have to be in relationship with. We can learn from our experiences. I'm in danger of getting way too personal. So I'll just say very softly, I have an ex. It's not my more current ex that I can be friendly and polite with. And I'm also clear that I no longer wish to engage that ex, my former, a former, in any way that feels like, hey, come on over, let's go out, let's have dinner, let's get drinks. No, thank you. It was a period in my life that was important and I learned from. We have people in our lives that we can honor, that we can acknowledge that it was a time in our life where we learned from them. We can make amends to that experience with that individual and not have to engage in any false manner because we've grown from that experience. And we can honor, acknowledge, and bless them in the growth of that experience, but not necessarily have to resume an experience with that individual, but still not stand in the world with this attitude about that individual. And in our experience of being in friendship and relationship now, in the moment, taking ownership for what we did, so that there is no ill feeling going between you and a significant person in your life. Hey, look, I had a headache. I was really being a pain in the tuchus. Oh my God, I'm sorry I did what I did. This is what was going on for me. Oh, okay, good. Thank you. This is what was going on for me in that moment. Yeah, we didn't meet up. We didn't manage that moment well. And in that, we can step back and go, oh, good. I'm exaggerating a point. Oh, I don't have to come from the spirit side of life and apologize to that person over that event. I did it when it was happening. I feel in the development of our awareness and the development of spiritualism in our lives and being a medium and blah, 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 I feel that we have an opportunity to be able to reflect upon ourselves, to be able to straighten out what we can in this life, to be the best that we can be for another person, with another person in relationship, without subjugating ourselves, without making ourselves less than, without any power dynamic, but being loving equals. Anything that gets triggered within ourselves isn't necessarily about that individual right in front of us, isn't always necessarily about that individual right in front of us. We are the walking history of our lives. What may be being triggered may not really have to do with that individual. It may be a part of our history. When we can look at ourselves as clearly as humanly possible and see our great points and celebrate them, and navigate our not so great points and work through them to become a better person, and in our relationships own what is ours, so that you don't need to come through at a spiritualist center through a medium to a relative or friend and say, I'm sorry. I think about Father Bill in the Episcopal Church talking about the aunt and how the aunts and the mother just sat there. They didn't remember why they didn't talk to her, but they just stopped talking to her. And I think about Father Philip and how he walked in this world exemplifying goodness and relationship. I saw him more than once as a priest behave in a manner with people where he genuinely in the moment took responsibility for action and held a space of love with everyone I ever saw him interact with. Look, we're not Episcopal or Roman Catholic priests. We're us. Most of us aren't even spiritualist ministers. Some of us are. We're all human beings living an experience here on this planet. And we speak about this planet being a place of love and that we come from love. So let's move more into a space of forgiveness with those in our lives who may not have behaved well, and forgiveness for ourselves. I have the great good fortune to be able to look at a 31-year relationship and marriage that is no longer a relationship or marriage in that way. It's changed. And I can look at what I did that was good. And I can also look at the parts of me that is wanting to show up better in my life for myself and possibly someone in the future. Possibly. Not worried about that yet. Well, not worried about that yet, but I did make a joke with Sharon like, wonder what it's going to be like to have a new boyfriend. Not rushing that process. But the point, ladies and gentlemen, we have an opportunity to grow in our experience, and the relationships that we're in are reflective surfaces helping us to know ourselves better. Take the opportunities that we have. Be loving where we can and forgiving where we can. Don't be a doormat for anyone, but allow yourself to be in relationship as cleanly as you can, so that when you do leave this world, you won't have any unfinished business to attend to through a medium from the other side. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.